Minecraft. Minecraft is filled with all kinds of experiences, usually joyful ones, like building your first house, making your first world, the 1 week Minecraft phase with your friends. But, as everyone knows, there is a darker side to Minecraft.
No. We're good. We'll figure out another way to live.
We got some sheep here. Hello? What the frick is that? Oh, excuse me. I didn't realize I downloaded the horror version.
Whoa. What is that noise?
I think he sees me. I'm done. I'm gonna delete the world.
Minecraft is not always what it seems. I have a lot of nostalgia for Minecraft as I grew up playing it, and I've had many experiences, as I'm sure most of you have as well. And I'm sure we all have had our own creepy experiences, maybe something as simple as a creeper blowing you up from behind when you least expect it. Minecraft is filled with scary moments, but going past those scary moments, there is definitely a lot beneath the surface. And that's exactly why we're going to be talking about this horror iceberg that I've created for you today. This is the Fusion Timmy Halloween special of 2024. So I hope you all are prepared. Make sure to grab a snack, turn off the lights, grab your friends, and enjoy.
Hey, little M&Ms. Wow, great costumes. What are you guys, like 4 or 5?
46.
All right, yeah, okay. Here you go.
You don't understand, Slick. We're here for the party.
Yeah, that's cute.
Put your hand down.
Creepers are plants. Creepers are plants is a very popular Minecraft theory, basically trying to say that creepers are in fact plants. Now, you might immediately think, what could that mean? Well, a creeper happens to be green, and it's kind of got like a mossy texture. So if you was to look at a picture of a creeper, you could kind of see the resemblance. It sort of looks like it's a plant. It actually resembles a dirt block pretty closely. Although the creeper is definitely not a plant, they are covered in moss, so there is some truth to the theory. Creepers are basically just covered in moss and have a texture similar to dried leaves, which is kind of how they get that weird texture on their body, but they're not plants. The Farlands. So, for a lot of new people, you might not even know what the Farlands is. However, see, Minecraft used to have a limit to how many blocks you could have within one world, so you'd reach a barrier. Eventually, Notch ended up lifting this barrier and basically made Minecraft an infinite world generator. You could walk in one line straight, directly, for miles, and never reach the end. However, there was one guy that did try, and his name was Kurt J. Mack, and he actually had a Guinness World Record for going the furthest that anyone ever had, and he's still going to this day. He often did this for charity, and like I said, he still does it to this day. It has been years. When I was a kid, this man was still going through the Farlands. Yeah, he's still going, and he's trying to see if he can reach the end. Because there is, supposedly, an end out there. You just have to reach it. But it's so far that it's seemingly impossible. And that's exactly why Kurt J. Mack wanted to try and prove this wrong. But yeah, I think the Farlands is pretty interesting, and it's just kind of cool that someone would be able to take on that kind of a challenge. You may not rest now. There are monsters nearby. So for any of us that have used a bed within Minecraft at one point or another, you basically can get a message on the screen that says, "You may not rest now, there are monsters nearby." And this is a little unsettling when you think about it, because sometimes you have no idea where, but there is a threat looming somewhere around you, and it's stopping you from sleeping. Sometimes it might be as simple as a zombie at your door, or it could be something rather nefarious lurking in the depths. I can't tell you how many times I've went to go outside and check, only for a creeper to be on top of the roof and come explode my house. It's not a nice message to see, and you always hope that it'll just go away. But 9 times out of 10, you're gonna have to go outside and take care of it yourself. Ambient sounds. So, this is something that has actually creeped me out for a very long time, ever since I was a kid. Because Minecraft had these very random cave noises, And sometimes they'll happen when you're outside of caves. Ambient noises, ambient sounds. These ambient sounds will just happen as you're walking through the world, and it's rather unsettling because you never know where they're coming from or what's causing them. And honestly, to this day, I'm not sure what causes them, other than the fact that I know a cave must be nearby. Because as I know, caves cause these sounds. It's so creepy when you're just having a good time, enjoying Minecraft, tending to your farm, maybe planting some seeds, and then you just hear this. So yeah, safe to say, I don't feel like farming anymore. Caves. Caves might seem like a very simple entry. What's so scary about caves? We all went mining at one point or another. Exactly. Caves are terrifying. You're telling me you didn't ever once check behind your back to see if something was there? There's always a looming threat in caves. There's always the possibility that something could just jump out and get you. A cave spider being one of the worst culprits. You never know what you're going to find within a cave, and often when I'm playing Minecraft, something different happens every time, which is what makes it so replayable. Caves also have a bunch of random things that we haven't been able to explain for the longest time, such as random discs being in chests, and sometimes you'll play these discs and they'll be very scary discs, which we'll be talking about later. Or sometimes you'll see tunnels that seem a little too perfect, almost man-made. We'll also be talking about that later. And of course, cave sounds, or just having mobs around you, which is creepy enough in itself. That's a very real threat that is in the cave, and sometimes you don't know where they are, or if you can even take them on. God help you if you don't have a torch with you. Herobrine. Herobrine was posted on the Something Awful for... I'm kidding, I'm not about to tell you the entire story of Herobrine again. You know who Herobrine is, okay? Herobrine is a menace to society. This man has been talked about for years. You know who Herobrine is. You were probably scared of him growing up, or you at least thought there was a possibility of him being real. One of the biggest culprits of this is back in the day, especially on like Xbox, there would be these messages that would say Herobrine has been removed from the game. And this would make you think, wait, so Herobrine was in the game? However, Herobrine has never actually been in the game. It is still a huge reason why people are scared to play Minecraft. I mean, like I said, those tunnels that are just a little too perfect, Herobrine's like the boogeyman of Minecraft. Anything that seems out of the ordinary, it could be Herobrine. You see a pyramid that just looks a little too man-made, you never see those, it could be Herobrine. You see a cross symbol which looks very strange and out of place for Minecraft, it's probably Herobrine. You see trees that have been burned from lava underneath that you just didn't see, it's probably Herobrine. Honestly, Herobrine scarred all of us as kids, and it's just never gonna go away. And that's why I'm gonna keep it brief. You know who Herobrine is, he's creepy. Moving on. End poem credits. So, if you've ever been in Minecraft before, there is a message at the end. There is a whole entire credit session of like these two beings talking. And I feel like it's rather interesting. And it's very philosophical, to be honest with you, and I'm not going to get too in-depth with it. If you really want to see it, there's a good video out there that you should go check out. It's on the screen. It goes over that message, and I feel like it's pretty interesting. But overall, it's a very strange message to come from Minecraft, as you've played the entire game so far, and you've been the only person alive. When you beat the game, you just randomly see these two figures that are unknown speaking on screen. It's a little unsettling, but honestly, I think it has a good message, so I like it. Disc 11. So, if you haven't ever heard Disc 11, I'm so happy for you. You should go look it up right now and scar yourself for life. Because the rest of us, we have had the unfortunate pleasure of hearing this sound. This is one of the most unsettling discs in the entire game, and honestly, hearing this as a kid was terrifying. I would be playing this on the TV full blast. I'm just playing with my friends, Xbox 360, I'm having a good time, and then someone just says, haha, watch this, and then they slap in a disc 11, and I'm cooked. That is terrifying. Why is he breathing like that? Why is it making those kinds of noises? A lot of people told me that this was Herobrine when I was a kid, and honestly, I believed it at the time because it just made sense. Whoever this person was that was mining was clearly scared, and they were trying to get away from something. They were breaking block after block, placing them behind them. At least that's how it sounded to me. I guess it's all up to interpretation. I think there's a video out there that breaks it down. However, I'm not going to be doing that in this video. The Nether. Yeah, you know, this is basically just hell. The end. This is just hell, but in space, and has a giant dragon. Mineshafts. Okay, unlike the last two entries, I'm actually going to talk about this one, because this one is actually a little interesting. It's been there for so long. Mineshafts are within caves. This is another unsettling part about caves, but I wanted to give it its own entry. Mineshafts are what's left of whatever humanity was within the Minecraft world. We're not exactly sure what this is. I'm not MatPat, but what I can say is it's pretty freaky when it's your first time playing Minecraft. You go down into the caves, you see this whole place that's just got cobwebs over it, maybe some creepy cave spiders, which are poisonous. I mean, you have not fought anything like this up until this point. And you have torches around. And it's like, wait a minute. I'm the only one that can do this. There's oak planks. There's all these remnants of a past society that we don't understand. Mineshafts are creepy because you're the only human left. And it feels so lonely in a way, and you wonder where everyone went. Why are these mineshafts here when there's nobody else? One would be led to assume that zombies must have been human at one point, and maybe they could have worked in these mines. And it's like, what happened? Zombie villagers. So, on the topic of zombies, I considered giving them their own entry, but I'm not going to. Zombies, you obviously know, are basically just humans that are undead. Zombie villagers are the exact same thing, except for they're villagers. And what unsettles me about this is it kind of implies that zombie villagers are different from zombies. If you think about it, humans turning into zombies wouldn't be the same as a villager turning into zombies. Steve is not a villager. They're different entities. So that basically confirms the fact that there is humans that have died in this world. We just don't know why. Now, there used to be zombie pigmen, but now they are known as piglins, so that doesn't count. Herobrine is Notch's brother. No, he's not. He's not, alright? He debunked this. For the people wondering, in one of the original Herobrine posts, it mentions that Notch happened to have a brother who hasn't been heard from and passed away, and that is supposedly Herobrine haunting Minecraft. That's not the case at all. Notch never had a brother, and he actually debunked this. Herobrine is kind of like a ghost, and it kind of feeds into that legend. Oh, Notch had a brother, he possessed the game, it makes sense. But no, that's not the case at all. It's not true. Shipwrecks. This is something you're very likely to come across within Minecraft, especially in the latest updates. There is shipwrecks pretty much everywhere. So what makes these shipwrecks creepy? Well, like I said in previous entries, these are remnants of a past society. These shipwrecks, to us as the player, oh, free loot. It's in a sunken ship. That's pretty cool, right? Wrong. Okay, it is cool. But the problem is, this belonged to some people at some point. This is more remnants of a past society. As we've gotten more updates in Minecraft, as time has went on, there has become more and more remnants of humanity, and there is a story that is brewing there. I just don't quite know it yet. Soul sand. So, if you've ever been to the Nether, you'll have encountered soul sand most likely. And if you don't know what soul sand is, or even if you do, soul sand is a block that has screaming souls on it. Get it? Soul sand. It makes you walk slower whenever you're on it. A lot slower, actually. But it's really freaky. When you zoom in on what a soul sand texture looks like, you can see screaming faces. And like I said, this is pretty much hell. Like, there's no way around it. But in Minecraft terms, why is this here? Think about it. We got these piglins, we got these screaming souls trapped within blocks. What exactly is going on here? That's what I like about Minecraft. It's vague, but it leaves you having a lot of questions and not a lot of answers. Enderman. Ah, what's creepy about an Enderman? Everything. Obviously, there's the fear of looking an Enderman in the eye and then getting attacked by it. They're way stronger than most mobs, and even to this day, I am very careful to not look an Enderman in the eye, but there's more to it. See, surface level, yeah, an Enderman, don't look it in the eye. But have you ever wondered, why is there Enderman outside of the end? That is where they are all at. That's where the Ender Dragon is. So tell me, why are they found in a nether biome, and why are they found in the overworld? Just something to think about. One last thing about the Endermen, I feel like this is pretty self-explanatory, but you'll often catch them carrying blocks. And this is because, I guess they like nature. Maybe they were past humans that just really want to cling on to their old ways of building. Maybe these Endermen were humans like us at one point, able to build and craft, and this is all that's left of them, still trying to cling on to their old ways. Spider jockey. A spider jockey is the rare combination of a skeleton sitting on top of a spider. If you haven't come across this, don't feel bad. It's kind of a rare thing to come across, but it always makes me happy when I've seen it. I've seen it many times at this point. It's common to me, but only because I've played so much Minecraft. But it's very cool. That's about it. It's just a rare sight. I thought I should mention it because it's like, why is this skeleton sitting on top of the spider? Why are they working together? They're adapting, they're growing, and I'm scared. Ghast. Yeah, that's right. We're going to be talking about Ghast. This is another very creepy thing that happens for most players. Ghast essentially just shoot fireballs at you and scream really loud and are very obnoxious. You can throw their fireball back at them to kill them. This is a very common way that people kill these types of Ghast, and they drop a Ghast tear. What's unsettling about Ghast is they seem to be in agony. They scream whenever they're trying to attack you, they scream when they die, and then they drop a tear. They literally drop a tear. Think about that. That is actually depressing. What are Ghast? Why are they so upset? Like, it doesn't make sense, because what are they, genuinely? We don't really think about that. But, just something to think about. Cave spiders. Yeah, all I'm going to say is I hate these guys. Literally, with the passion. I've already mentioned it before. I want to give them their own entry, just so you guys would know how much I hate them. Void below overworld. So there you are, mining down like you're not supposed to, mining straight to the Earth's core. You reach bedrock and you realize, oh man, I just can't go any further. Well, time to go back up. Well, think for a second that you're actually in creative mode and you decide to break the block. What do you see? You see a void. And a void that will indefinitely kill you. Just think this is a little interesting. I mean, I feel like most people have gotten curious enough to see what's beneath there in creative mode. But it is kind of interesting because, like, is that what's outside the barrier of Minecraft? I don't know, just kind of interesting. Just something I wanted to throw in there. Abandoned villages. Abandoned villages are very rare spawns within Minecraft. Regular abandoned village has about a 2% chance to drop, while a zombie abandoned village has about a 30% chance. If you look at these pictures on the screen, these abandoned villages are kind of unsettling. Imagine you're playing Minecraft and you think you just found a village, but all of the lights are off. All you can see are cobwebs everywhere. Where did everybody go? I've never come across an abandoned village. That's just how rare they are. However, if I did, especially these days when I've never encountered it in all of my years, I would be very unsettled. Because why is this village abandoned? I've never encountered this before. Yeah, sure, sometimes there's been zombies that have killed villages naturally over time, but this is an entire run-down village. There is cobwebs everywhere. The houses are starting to fall apart. The life is gone. There's no lights. There's no crops. The only thing left is the normal loot chest. And God forbid you find a zombie village. They're going to just be dead everywhere. You're just going to have zombie villagers everywhere with all these abandoned houses. It's going to look like it came out of a mod. Pretty crazy. Never encountered this, but it's very interesting to learn.
Some glow-in-the-dark bags. This is the best costume ever!
I'm a pirate.
No.
Spaceman?
No.
Ninja?
Today's video is sponsored by GameSir. If you're unaware of what GameSir is a company that makes different types of console controllers. My favorite of which being the GameSir G7HE. It's an Xbox controller that is super amazing. They let me have one to try out for myself, and I have to say it's my favorite Xbox controller that I've ever owned. It's comfortable, you can change the settings for what the button inputs are, including some very comfortable back triggers, which I think are an awesome addition. Overall, you should definitely go check out the link in the description. Go check out GameSir. Now, back to the iceberg. Minecraft paintings. So, Minecraft paintings. You've probably seen them before. They're very cool, but they also seem a little random at times. Like, why is there a karate picture? Why is there a flaming skull? Well, these are all created by the Swedish artist Christopher Zetterstrand. I hope I'm saying that correctly. He created most of the paintings in Minecraft, with the exception of the Wither painting and some other unused paintings. I can't go over all the paintings, but I will go over some of the ones that I find more interesting. Let's start off with the painting, The Void. Looking at the pixelated version, I always thought this was a woman kind of reaching her hand out. Obviously, we see some kind of flame in the corner. It looks like some clouds in the back. I thought, oh, maybe she's throwing some flowers out or something. I don't know. However, when you look at the actual painting, it's an angel on their knees praying. We're right about the clouds in the background, but there's a lot more to see there, and it makes everything feel so much different. That's an angel? I had no idea. Nevertheless, it's really nice. Okay, how about skull on fire? Well, I know you've seen the pixelated version. It's clearly a skull on fire with the nighttime in the background, and I feel like it's one of the best paintings in Minecraft because it's so clear to see what you're looking at. However, when you look at the real version, it just feels kind of unreal. All of the blurriness that comes from pixelation is completely gone, and now you're just left with a very photorealistic skull with some Minecraft flames and Minecraft in the background. Skull is very random, but when you actually have it in the game, it looks perfect. It's very iconic. I think this one's kind of funny, but we're going to talk about RGB. So, as you know in Minecraft, this one actually has what looks to be a girl with a painting of a pig, literally. But if we see the actual painting, it's a girl with a picture of RGB, which is why the painting is called RGB. You see red, green, and blue. I just thought this was very funny because they changed it to a pig. The last painting I'm going to talk about is Match. If we look at the pixelated version, I mean, with the name, you can kind of tell, oh, it must be a match of some kind. But without seeing the name, you just see somebody's hand over what looks to be a fire. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense. However, if we look at the photorealistic version, it's literally somebody holding a match over a pixelated fire. And this just looks so cool. All these paintings are very nice to look at, and I feel like you should go check them out for yourself. But on to the next entry. Skeleton horse. So, a skeleton horse is pretty unsettling because it's literally just a horse, but it's a skeleton. And how this happens is whenever lightning happens to strike a horse, which is kind of cool because you can still keep it tamed. You can actually tame a skeleton horse and have it for yourself. There is also a zombie horse in the game. They can't naturally be spawned, but you can /summon them. So I thought that was worth mentioning. It's a horse, but it's green, and it's a zombie with eyes completely black. The Deep Dark. So, as most of you know, the Deep Dark is a biome that's in one of the newest updates of Minecraft, and it houses the Warden. This biome is like dimly lit. It has no torches, but it does have the natural light coming from the lava and catalyst. There's no other mobs in this biome. It's just you. However, if he was to trigger a Skulk Shrieker a certain amount of times, the Warden can appear. And the Warden is terrifying. The Warden is like the strongest mob in Minecraft other than like the Ender Dragon, and it takes a lot to kill. I like that Minecraft has started to add these new mobs that are very dangerous because the game can be sometimes a little too easy. But it's very creepy, especially if you don't know anything about the Deep Dark. The Halloween update. Back in 2010, there was a huge update that would change Minecraft forever. You see, alpha version 1.2.0 released, and it was labeled the Nether. And of course, as you imagine, the Nether was added within this update. And like I said, this changed the game forever. Hit the target. Well, this isn't that creepy or anything. I feel like it was worth mentioning because a lot of kids were probably scared of Hit the Target or thought he was like a very nefarious person. He is a character from Stampy's Lovely World. You know, Stampy Longnose, And hit the target is basically like an antagonist in his series, I guess you could call it. As a kid, I always thought it was very cool because hit the target would always have Stampy, always just like right on the ropes, and then something would always happen to him, just when you would least expect it. If you want to know more about hit the target, I suggest you go watch Stampy, but I just figured it was worth a mention. Killer rabbit. A killer rabbit is basically a type of bunny that will just kill players when it's nearby. So it's a very hostile bunny, and I think it's very funny. And when I was a kid, I remember this being released. It was very creepy because my friend was like, "Hey man, did you hear about the killer rabbit?" I'm like, "Excuse me? The mobs are fighting back? What's next? A killer chicken? The white rabbit? What is this, ReZero?" I can practically hear the death sound for ReZero as we speak, as if I'm about to be reincarnated to try and kill this thing. Killer bunnies are a rare spawn. However, apparently, you can actually breed them with other rabbits with the chance of the offspring also being a killer rabbit. So there is a chance that you can have a killer rabbit army. Just thought this was worth mentioning. Also, if the mode is set to peaceful, the killer rabbit will not despawn. It won't attack players, but it will attack wolves and tame dogs. So yes, it's not going to despawn, but it's still deadly. Maybe not to you, but it might kill your dog, which is just as deadly. Overall, take caution. These things are evil and need to be stopped. Wishing well. Within Minecraft villages, particularly the desert, you can find something known as a desert well. I'm sure you've come across them in your travels. You know, it's just a simple well that has water in it. However, the reason I call this entry the wishing well is because many people have said, especially when I was a kid, that you could throw gold in there and you'd get all these different rewards, like you get these cool enchantment books. This was not actually true. You know, they would say, do this, do that, and it'll be kind of like in real life. You throw a coin in there, you get actual money. That was not true. Okay, as I am making this entry, I would like to point out that times have changed apparently. Apparently in some of the new updates, there is something known as suspicious sand. Maybe I am just stupid, alright, I'm an old school veteran player. But apparently there is something known as suspicious sand, which will contain one item stack with the following distribution. You will get arms up pottery shard, brewer pottery shard, brick, emerald, stick, and suspicious stew. I think that's very interesting. Just wanted to point that out. Yes, you're not going to get any kind of crazy loot, but it's something. There is something at the well. That's kind of cool. Silverfish. They need to die. They need to die, and they need to die now. Also, those blocks that people like to troll people with like the silver, you know, the silverfish blocks. You mine them, it looks like, oh, it's cobblestone. You break it, and they just come out everywhere. If you ever did this, I'm watching you. You're on my list, and I will find you. Igloo basement. You know of an igloo, but did you know in half of all igloos, an oak trapdoor can be found underneath the carpet? Going down this trapdoor will lead you to a basement. Big surprise. However, once again, these stone bricks, they're infested with silverfish. This is why I'm telling y'all, these silverfish gotta go. They have got to go, bro. Also, they usually have a zombie villager behind some iron bars that you can cure, which is kind of cool. Entity 303. Oh, Entity 303. I'm not entirely familiar with them. I knew about Herobrine, but people always called this the second Herobrine, which, funnily enough, the creepypasta that made Entity 303 claimed that he was the new Herobrine. So apparently, according to the creepypasta, Entity 303 is a former Mojang employee that was fired by Notch. Now he wants revenge on Mojang and Minecraft players alike. Yeah, he's just evil, apparently. I mean, personally, if I was him and I got fired, I would just go get another job, but that's just me. However, Entity 303 is said to not just be the former employee. It's a whole team of hackers going by usernames like 303mojang.com 303, Entity 303, 303. It just has to be associated with 303. And somewhere in here it says the Herobrine actually came to warn us about 303 by showing what he would do. This is a little goofy to me, but it's kind of a neat idea. It's just, I don't think they understand why Herobrine was scary in the first place. Herobrine wasn't scary because it was overly complicated. He was scary because he was a myth. He was like a legend. It was so possible. There's always something that could be lurking behind you. Something out of view. However, Entity 303 is just some guy that was like, Mojang, why did you fire me? Man, that's it. I'm gonna go make my own hacker team. I don't know, man. It seems kind of lame to me, but it's supposed to be creepy. Let me know, did Entity 303 scare you guys when you were younger? I mean, he looks kind of iconic in a way, I won't lie. I can recognize him if I see him. But the story itself seems meh. Feeding parrots cookies. So, I didn't even know this because I've never thought to do it, but in Minecraft, feeding a parrot a cookie kills it instantly. Like, you just killed your pet, he is dead. This is because chocolate is toxic to parrots in real life. So Minecraft in 2017 made some changes to the game because it was like, oh wait, people are giving our parrots cookies? Yeah, no, we can't be having that happen. This is going to give off the wrong idea. We can't let people think that this is okay. So they did the right thing, they updated the game, they changed it to where now, if you try and feed your parrot a cookie, it will die instantly. So don't be feeding the parrots cookies, alright? It's just like in real life. It will kill them. That is a little disturbing, actually, because imagine like you feed your Minecraft dog a cookie and it just dies instantly. You're gonna feel like the worst person ever. I pity anyone that went through this. Enchanting table. Here's a picture of the standard galactic alphabet. This is the symbols that you will see within inside of enchantment tables within the game. So they take these letters and they make words within inside the enchanting table. And they say all kinds of things like air, animal, ball, beast, bless, cold, creature, Cthulhu, which is kind of crazy, and demon, destroy, humanoid, just a bunch of random stuff. Imagine elements. It's essentially elements, and it fits the enchantment table. I mean, it really does. If you were to look up what these mean, they fit an enchanting table. It just makes sense. But if you've ever wondered, now you know. You can actually go get the font online. Like I said, it's called the Galactic Alphabet. It's very easy to come across. So go troll your friends or something. Netherrack is made of flesh. So, Netherrack, is it made of flesh? No, not technically. But we're not really sure what it actually is made out of. But a lot of people assume that it must be some kind of bloody flesh of some sort. We're not exactly sure. See, when the Nether first released, it was genuinely just called Hell. It was intended to look like Hell. I don't think this is a secret to anybody. It looks like Hell. However, because of this, it already has a pretty bad vibe. We have soul sand, and then we have Netherrack. Netherrack, no one could really tell what it is, but you have like these blotches of bright red on top of like the lighter red. And it just kind of looks like maybe it's flesh of some kind. It could actually be flesh. I said it wasn't. But that's because supposedly it's been debunked, but they haven't said what it actually is yet. So maybe it is. I think they said it could be rocks. But with the old textures, that definitely looks like blood. The newer textures, it does kind of look like rocks though. New Netherrack, you can see the one kind of looks like it has flesh while the other just looks like it has bricks. So Minecraft is clearly trying to show us that the Netherrack is not intended to be flesh, but in the old versions, you gotta admit, it does kind of look like it. Disc 5. So, you've heard of Disc 11. Well, meet its cousin, Disc 5. This is found in the ancient city, and it's pretty creepy, man. I'm not gonna lie. It's not as creepy as Disc 11, but it's another one of those discs that has random noises, and it kind of gives off the impression that maybe a warden was in this recording. If you want to hear what it sounds like, go check it out for yourself, but it's very creepy, so I have to warn you. Zoglins. I've actually never encountered a Zoglin before. I haven't played that much of newer Minecraft, so this is kind of new to me. But Zoglins apparently spawn whenever a Hoglin, which is basically a pigman, once they've been in the overworld or the end for 300 game ticks, which is about 15 seconds, they get the nausea effect. And this nausea effect is what turns them into Zoglins. Essentially a zombified Hoglin, from what I'm understanding. If you're looking at a picture, you can see that its ribs are showing, and it has different parts of bone showing near the head and the tusk. It's pretty creepy. It's just interesting that it only spawns in the overworld or end, so it has to be in a place outside of the Nether. It's kind of interesting how that effect happens whenever they come outside the Nether. That's an intentional mob. This is like, it's kind of like Mojang is trying to say something here, you know what I mean? Like, they're not supposed to be in our world. It's just interesting. They went out of their way to make this. It's an undead mob. It's even classified as that. However, the Hoglin is not. So basically, this Hoglin just comes to the overworld or end and turns into a zombie and dies, which is just crazy to me. The Sky Dimension. So, if you didn't know, at one point, Minecraft was planned to have a Sky Dimension. There is some screenshots of what it would have looked like early on, but yeah, you would have been able to go up into the sky and have found a Sky Dimension. It's intended to be like the opposite of the Nether, where the Nether is down below, it's terrifying. The Sky Dimension would have kind of been similar to like Heaven. Although it didn't look like it in the screenshots, I think that's what they were going for. The Nether Reactor. I have never seen or even heard of a Nether Reactor, but apparently this is exclusive to the Bedrock edition of Minecraft, which I stopped using a long time ago. So the Nether Reactor is essentially a player-built structure which was exclusive to Bedrock, and when activated inside of survival mode, it would be a massive structure of Netherrack, the Nether Spire of sorts. It would spawn large quantities of normally rare or unattainable items, which is pretty interesting. So to make this or to activate the Nether Reactor, the following conditions need to be met. All players were in the range of the reactor's effects on activation. The reactor was built within the valid range between the Y layers 4 to 96, and the player who activated the reactor was standing level with the structure. If these conditions were met, tapping the core would activate the reactor, sending the client message active with an exclamation mark. Immediately after activation, a massive structure of Netherrack with multiple rooms, the Nether Spire, was generated around the reactor. In the picture you're seeing, the spire was composed of over 25 stacks of Netherrack. That is crazy. And yes, items would begin to spawn within the reactor room, which is crazy. It had all kinds of stuff like pumpkin seeds, melon seeds, and even zombified piglins were also able to spawn in this area. Disc 24. Disc 24 is a fake disc that doesn't exist in the game. However, there has been multiple people that have supposedly made Disc 24 in Minecraft. They didn't actually do this, but it'll usually be some kind of creepy disc similar to Disc 11. It's just kind of like a myth, but just thought it was worth mentioning because it's kind of popular. Herobrine Shrine. So, back to Herobrine again. Cool. This is actually something that is also pretty wildly known, but not everybody knows about this because it's kind of old. Makes me feel like a grandpa. So, if you don't know what a Herobrine Shrine is, it's consisting of like gold, netherrack, sometimes it's mossy cobblestone. Honestly, there's been a few different ways to make it, but the one with the gold blocks and netherrack is the classic one. It has redstone torches, and then you light it on top with a flint and steel. Supposedly, they would say that if you did this, it would summon Herobrine into your world. Of course, there would be no message or anything, but supposedly it would just happen. I remember trying this as a kid over and over in different ways, thinking, maybe I'll summon Herobrine into my world. Why would you want to do that? Because kids love being scared of stuff. As long as it's in Minecraft, it's kind of interesting. You're wondering, is it real? Is he out there? I want to have Herobrine in my world. Because, like, as a kid, I'd watch all these videos of fake sightings and think, oh, I wouldn't be scared. I'm just going to kill him with a diamond sword. Like, duh. Let me go into creative mode. What's he going to do then? But, obviously, that's not how it works. And this Herobrine Shrine was basically just an ugly mockery sitting outside your house. So definitely don't do it. It doesn't do anything. However, I would like to add that there is a Herobrine mod where they added a Herobrine totem, and that does work. They actually kept the spirit of the original Herobrine legend alive in that, so it does work in that. And it does spawn Herobrine into your world, so have fun with that. How did we get here? How did we get here is an achievement that can be unlocked by having every single effect in the game applied at the same time. I don't think I've ever done this before. I definitely could have, but I didn't even see the achievement and I've never tried to. Maybe someday I should try and play the game and get every single achievement. I feel like a lot of people do that, but I don't. But yeah, I just thought that was worth putting on there because it's kind of a niche achievement that's hard to do.
I just love Halloween.
Mono, what's my costume?
Well, we already have a daddy, so how about a mummy?
Where's your costume, Ronald?
What am I going to be for Halloween?
Yo, Ronnie, how about a clown?
What's frightfully fun at McDonald's? 4 McDonald and friends with clip-on costumes and 4 McDonald and tapes. I like to scare myself.
8 to collect. One with each Happy Meal you buy.
Happy Halloween.
Endermites are parasites. Yes, so like I said, Endermites, they're parasites. And they can hide within mobs and use them to fight. That is disturbing, man. That is creepy. On top of that, they can teleport between enemies, and they can even call other Endermites to come help them. Endermites have a 5% chance of spawning when a player throws an Ender Pearl, which I've definitely had this happen many times. Endermen also just hate Endermites. I thought this was kind of funny. They just hate the little things. They're like, hey, get out of here. They will scare the Endermites out of their host and make the Endermites run away. And one last thing, if you want to see how this works, players can use Ender Pearls to lure Endermites into mobs. So go crazy. You should be able to bring a Endermite to go become a parasite. I hope you feel good about yourself, because that mob is not going to be having a good time. Super secret settings. Yeah, so these aren't very secret settings, but in older versions of Minecraft, I don't even know if it's still in the game anymore, but there was a button in the escape menu whenever you paused the game where you could click something that said super secret settings. And every time you clicked it, it would give you something different. Now, it'd be hard to get it back to the original way that the game was, but these would give all kinds of crazy effects, and I remember messing around with it a lot as a kid, and I thought it was kind of creepy, because when I had played it, I came from Xbox 360 to PC. Xbox 360 didn't have this, but Java Edition did. And when I found it, oh, I was very surprised, and I was very confused of why that was there. But it was actually pretty cool. I enjoyed it, and you should go check it out. Red Dragon. So the Red Dragon was essentially a mob that Notch planned to add in a future update. However, it never happened because of his departure from Mojang in 2014. Jeb has actually stated that if the dragon was to ever be implemented, the players would have to get it from a dragon egg, most likely. I feel like this is probably to capitalize on the idea of like the Ender Dragon or something, because people would get the egg and you couldn't do anything with it. But it makes sense that the next step would be that you could raise a dragon with it. Imagine if the red dragon would come out of that. It would have made sense. Enderman backwards speech. So, the Enderman voice lines are actually just English words, but with heavy distortion. Now, some people did think that it was just spoken backwards, but actually no, it was just normal English, just heavily distorted. And the lines are as follows. Hey, hello, what's up, and look for the eye. Which I think look for the eye is kind of interesting, but I'm going to play some clips here so you guys see what I'm talking about. So yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty interesting that the Endermen, they're actually saying things to you. 9 times out of 10, when you hear them talking to you, they're probably like, yo, what's good? And you don't even know that. They're just trying to be chill, man. Like, think about it. They got a block in their hand, they're sitting there, and they're like, what's up? And you never say what's up back, man. You never respond. That's kind of depressing, isn't it? Imagine being that Enderman. Do better. No. Noel is apparently just an entirely pitch black character, and his story suggests that he is the true enemy of Minecraft, while Herobrine's actions are in your defense. This is pretty much like 303. Pretty much everything that tries to imitate Herobrine is just not good. I don't know why, but they're just not good. I don't think they understand what made Herobrine scary. They just think, oh, scary person with scary skin. They were probably a Mojang employee. Mobs are afraid of cats. So, this is kind of funny, and a lot of you probably already know this, but creepers are terrified of cats, right? Like, you just know they're just going to run immediately. Dogs? No, the creepers are still going to attack you. They do not care. They'll fight or whatever, but cats, oh no, those creepers are out of there. This made cats actually very useful for just keeping the creepers away, but you know what else is scared of cats? Phantoms. You know, the little pesky creatures that come out when you don't sleep after like a couple days. Yeah, cats can scare those guys away too. I actually did not know this because I always have dogs. I don't usually have cats, and the few times that I have, I've never seen them scare off phantoms because I'm usually either fighting the phantoms or sleeping. So I think this is actually very interesting. Green Steve. This just seems so goofy to me, but we're going to lock in now, alright? Prepare yourself. I'm about to go into creepypasta mode, and we're going to talk about the tale of Green Steve. Alright, are you ready? Buckle up. This might be like so scary, it sends chills down your spine.
I was playing Minecraft on the 1.8 update when I found a desert temple. Like most players, I broke the blue block and jumped down the hole. I accidentally hit the block that sets off the TNT, but surprisingly, it did not go off. A Steve-like mob came down from the hole where the blue block was, and it looked like Steve, only green. It hit me and I appeared in a room made of bedrock filled with creepers, and I was really freaked out, so I exited. I then went back then. The next day, this is terrible grammar. To my surprise, I was not in the creeper cave, but in a forest. It was like I had made a new world, though I obviously hadn't. Strange enough, the chat box popped up with the words, Green Steve, I am coming. This was very weird. I double checked to see if I was on multiplayer, but shockingly, I wasn't. I moved through the forest, still wondering about the chat message. In a few moments, I happened to stumble across a house. It had been my house in the world before, only in a forest, not a desert. I went in. There was nothing. Then the green mob came in. Another message appeared in the chat box. Green Steve. Hello, brother. Then I just blew up. I deleted the world after that because I didn't want to come across this weird entity again. I sent an email to one of the developers who had helped in the making of Minecraft about my experience, and he replied, one of the developers wanted to add Green Steve to Minecraft, but we said no, and we caught him adding it in. If this story is true, it could explain Herobrine and many other things. So that's terrible, isn't it? It's pretty bad. This guy literally just encountered a Green Steve, was like, what is that? And after that, you know, he just kind of leaves, and then he contacts his bro at Mojang, and the guy at Mojang's like, yeah, so we caught like this dude. He just really wanted to add Green Steve. Yeah, it could have been blue, it could have been red. No, it had to be green. We said no, but he added it in anyways. My bad. And that's supposed to explain how Herobrine was in there. This is so silly, man. I can't. Minecraft. Minecraft is a 2D top-down action game made by Notch for the 2011 48-hour game programming contest. And yeah, so basically this was just a Minecraft spin-off called Minecraft. It got discontinued, but it became open source, and because of its popularity, a lot of new players created their own versions of Minecraft. Notch was developing a sequel called Minitale, but it was never released, and little is really known about it. We just know that it did exist. You can see screenshots here. The gameplay is a little similar to Minecraft. The player is supposed to gather materials to craft tools, mine ore, chop trees, farm wheat, kill zombies and slimes. But in order to win, they have to defeat the boss, the Air Wizard. Seems kind of cool. I never knew about this until now, so hopefully this is your guys' first time hearing about it. Giant fossils. So within Minecraft, kind of like our own world, there is fossils. They're very rare, but they have bone blocks, coal ore, or diamond ore, depending on what fossil you have. And as far as I know, you can find a skull and a spine. These are found in multiple different biomes, usually the desert or the swamp, and they spawn randomly. Stunned Enderman. Did you know that Endermen, when you look them in the eye, technically you can continue to stare at them and they will not move. If you keep your eyes trained onto them, like a staring contest, they will stay in place. They will not teleport away. However, if you look away, they will teleport to you. This is something I actually did not know, and I've played Minecraft for years. I always assumed, oh,
You looked at the eyes, it's starting to freak out. You should probably run now because it's going to start teleporting. But actually, if you keep your eyes on the Enderman's eyes, it will stay there shaking with anger, but it won't move. It stays stunned, which I thought this was very interesting, so I wanted to add this. The apocalypse theory. So there is a big theory that Minecraft is a post-apocalyptic future. If you think about it, it makes total sense, because if you look at everything we've talked about thus far, there is remnants of what humanity used to be. However, we're the only ones left. And there is tons of different places in the world that we can't explain, such as the abandoned mine shafts, abandoned villages. Villagers in themselves are like, what are they exactly? They're not humans, but they're very close to humans. We have zombies, so that means that there is some kind of previous human. Like I said before in a previous entry, zombie villagers are not the same thing as zombies, which kind of says that villagers and humans are not the same. When they turn to zombies, they turn into different types of zombies. And I feel like this is very notable because it shows that there was definitely humans in this world at one point. And there is remnants of that all around, like the sunken ships. So what exactly happened? Well, there's multiple different theories, and I'm going to get into one of them next. The Ender Dragon enslaved the Endermen. So this is a pretty popular theory. This goes up with the post-apocalyptic future, where essentially the theory goes, the Ender Dragon destroyed the world and left only us, Steve, as the last survivor. And all of the Endermen that are stuck in the end have been enslaved. Now, there's some theories that the Endermen were actually previously human, but we're not exactly sure. This could make sense, as like I said before in a previous entry, Endermen tend to hold blocks as if it's like they are remembering a past life. They are the only mob that I can think of that actually does this. They lift up blocks and they place them around, and they have a very human-like structure. Obviously, they're not zombies. Zombies are just undead humans, which are even closer to humans. But still, the Enderman has, a chest, arms, legs, eyes, a mouth. And overall, I could definitely buy into the fact the Enderman may have just, evolved over time by being in the end. Or maybe the Ender Dragon did something to them. Possibly even piglins could be some kind of previous human. I doubt it, but I don't know. It's just a lot of theories. Guardians are mechanical. So, if you've ever seen Guardians, they're obviously underwater in the water temples. And they're very annoying, they slow you down, obviously they're very annoying enemies. But, the real question is why is the temple made out of what is seemingly their remains? You can't tell me when you look at those structures. They don't look exactly like a Guardian, right? It looks very similar. However, some people think that it's more of like a machine. Imagine robots inside of a building. Basically, the robots are being made of some kind of material that is similar to what the actual structure of the temple is. But I don't believe this too much. I just don't think I can buy into it. I will say their main attack is a laser, which does kind of buy into the fact that maybe they are robots. They're seen as kind of like a defense system for the temple. It's entirely possible that they are robots. I just don't personally believe they're robots because they seem to be living creatures, like animals of sorts. But I'm not really sure what the Guardians actually are, but some people speculate that maybe they are just robots. Moon phase effects. So, did you know that the moon actually plays a role in the behavior of the world? This is kind of crazy, but during a full moon, 50% of the cats spawn as black. I guess it's supposed to be kind of like a reference to black cats, Halloween, more of like the darker, spookier settings. I'm not exactly sure, but I think it's very interesting. Also, for those of you that are always trying to find slime balls, did you know that the number of slimes that spawn in swamps is proportional to the moon's fullness? None spawn during the new moon, but they are very, very numerous during a full moon. So if you're ever trying to find slimes, keep that in mind. This is actually a really cool gameplay tactic that I didn't know about. The fuller the moon, the higher the chance skeletons and zombies have the ability to pick up items and spawn with weapons and armor. Furthermore, there is a higher chance for their equipment to be enchanted, and if it is, the enchantment levels are higher. Another crazy thing is spiders have a greater chance to spawn with random beneficial status effects, including invisibility. Now this is only in the Java edition. Now this is only in the Java edition, but can you imagine seeing a spider at night? Like you can hear it, but you can't see it because it's an invisible spider. My first assumption would be, oh, there must be a witch nearby because, you know, witch, they have invisibility potions. However, no, the spider can just turn invisible if it's a full moon. There is a chance that that can happen. That is terrifying. Also, one last thing, the higher difficulty of your Minecraft save, the worse these effects can be. These effects can be way more frequent and can be higher difficulty levels if your Minecraft world is set to, let's say, hard mode or hardcore mode. Shadow seeds. What is shadow seeds? That's a good question. Supposedly, shadow seeds, they went away a few years back. However, back when they were in the game, you could find a complete copy of your world, although there would be a little bit of differences. So, every single Minecraft seed has something called a shadow. What is a shadow? It's basically a duplication. It has the same biomes, however, everything else is completely different. So that means the villages will spawn differently, the shipwrecks would spawn differently, the overall randomly generated structures would be different, however, it would have the same biomes laid out the exact same way. A mirror of your actual world, a shadow, you could say. The end dimension is an asteroid belt. The end dimension is an asteroid belt, just like what it says. You see, if you think about it, the end has a bunch of different platforms. Those are all asteroids within the cosmos. You know, the end has tons of different islands, some large, some small. They're very spread out. This is essentially an asteroid belt. While this makes a whole lot of sense, I have to say that this is purely speculation, so there's no guarantee that this actually is an asteroid belt. However, it would make a lot of sense, and I personally believe it. Ancient debris is fossilized trees. You see, unlike most Minecraft mineral deposits, this is different. Ancient debris does not resemble any other mineral deposit in the game. For instance, look at iron ore compared to ancient debris. They do not look the same. However, it does resemble what looks to be a log block. It has somewhat of a tree ring on the top of the ancient debris. It kind of looks like a tree trunk's core. Also, to add on to this block is not even called netherite ore. It's called ancient debris. And what does ancient mean? It means something of the past. And debris usually can stand for some kind of random rubbish. I mean, it can be anything. It could be, you know, leftover plants, leftover trees, dead logs, for instance. So essentially the theory is trying to say that ancient debris is essentially some kind of tree. Some people think it might be petrified nether trees because they do have a resemblance. Whatever the case, this could be possibly trees that were just put in the nether and they hardened over time, and that made ancient debris. We're not entirely sure, but this is a popular theory, and I could totally see this being the case because, like I said, it's not even called an ore. It's called ancient debris. Something is different about ancient debris, no matter what. But how it came to be is still a mystery. Monoliths. To put it simply, monoliths were basically glitched areas of terrain that would appear in early versions of Minecraft, specifically the alpha. And in dev. These monoliths would cause the terrain to abruptly generate up to the height limit, which was usually a mix between natural grass blocks, maybe some ore generation. There could even be water coming out the sides. If you see the picture on screen, it's a monolith. It goes all the way up to the block limit. This did eventually go away, but it's a pretty cool thing to look at from the past. Just these giant structures that would appear for seemingly no reason in the middle of nowhere. Horror mods. Within Minecraft, there is all kinds of mods, and my channel is no stranger to this. However, one thing I've never covered is horror mods. Minecraft is filled with all kinds of high-quality horror type of creepy mods. There's Herobrine, Slenderman, the Wendigo, there is all kinds, and of course, the famous Cave Dweller. These mods are absolutely terrifying, and there's clips everywhere basically just showing how creepy these things are. You can go try it for yourselves. I recommend playing with some friends. It makes it very fun. Sometimes they'll try and copy your voice and repeat it, and it can sometimes fool you and your friends if you're just using the voice chat in the game. I think that's the scariest thing that I ever encountered within one of these horror mods. It actually did manage to trick me. However, yeah, there's a lot of horror mods. Go check it out. Alpha Snow Worlds. So I'm not exactly sure of all the details, but from what I can understand, back in Minecraft Alpha, you could get these things called Snow Worlds. I think they were either an option or they were very difficult to attain. I'm not very sure. There's not a lot of information out there about them. However, there was these snow worlds that would exist, and there would be snow everywhere. And I do have some pictures that I found from someone on Reddit, known as Nixa. I think that's their name. And it's very pretty looking. I kind of miss the colors of Alpha. However, you can see there is snow everywhere. And this is what would be considered a snow world. I just thought it was cool, kind of interesting. Just wanted to show you guys.
Whoa, Millhouse, that frozen black cherry's turned your tongue black. My tongue's black too.
Let me try.
Hey,
A stab black tongue.
This Halloween, the Simpsons are at Burger King. Now in every big kid's meal you can get a Simpsons spooky light up. They gleam, there is Scream, and you can collect all 15 at Burger King. Where else?
Ravagers are mutated villagers. There is a theory that the Ravagers we know in Minecraft are actually villagers. See, the theory is that the Illagers actually converted some villagers into Ravagers against their will. Obviously, in the head, Ravagers have a lot of similarities to villagers. They look an awful lot like a villager in the head. But also, do you know what their sounds are? They're heavily distorted villager sounds. Also, supposedly, the Ravager isn't even a true Illager because it doesn't reach the requirements, meaning that it's technically not an Illager, so it's very possible that it was at one point a villager. It's kind of a mystery. Hanging Entity. So, there's not a lot of information on this online, but apparently there is an error out there in Minecraft. It will say Hanging Entity at invalid position, class, blah 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 blah. I'm not exactly sure why this happens, but apparently there was somebody on Reddit that tried to run their server and that kept popping up. Now I have no idea of any information other than that. That seems to be the only thing I can find, so I don't know how credible it is, but supposedly that's possible. And if it is possible, that's kind of unsettling because why would that be in the game? Ashes to Ashes. So, Ashes to Ashes, I'm not exactly sure where it even stems from, but supposedly there is a hidden Minecraft sound called Ashes to Ashes. So, what was so important about Ashes to Ashes? Well, I know it sounds very creepy. It's a little unnerving. However, the reason why I wanted to point this out is that somebody actually figured out that if you put this in a spectrogram, it reveals a very weird image at the end. That weird sound you heard at the end of the clip, supposedly there's a picture that is in that sound if you put it in a spectrogram. I'm not exactly sure what to make of it myself. It reminds me kind of like Steve or a creeper, maybe a villager. The reason I'm saying this is just because quite literally it has two eyes, a nose, and a mouth. We can see there's some kind of body, and it reminds me of Steve. You can almost tell that there's sleeves on the left and right side. If you were to zoom in, it looks like there's sleeves. Now, what's going on with the head, I have no idea. But I just thought this was interesting and worth pointing out. It's a little creepy. Is it true? Is it not? I doubt it's true, but it is kind of weird to think about. Footsteps. So this is another one of those things in Minecraft that you probably don't even think about that much if you've played the game for a long time. But you'll know exactly what I'm talking about when I mention it. Have you ever been mining in a cave alone? Maybe it's nighttime, you don't have any friends around, you're just trying to play Minecraft, you want to relax, you know, the sounds are playing, you hear the birds chirping outside, the music is just going, you know, it's all the nostalgic tracks that you know, but you go into a cave, and like I said, everything changes. Once you go into a cave to mine, the atmosphere changes completely. Suddenly, the music goes away. Suddenly, the cave noises that I mentioned earlier will play every so often. The only thing that you'll hear is maybe the dripping of water. You might hear some mobs nearby. But of course, the scariest thing that you're probably going to hear other than a cave sound is your own footsteps. I can't tell you how freaky it is when you're mining and you just hear your own footsteps behind you. You're walking through your strip mine halls and all you can hear is just your footsteps falling behind you. And I swear there has been times where I'll stop moving and I'll swear that I heard footsteps from something else that wasn't me. Obviously it was me, but was it really? I don't know. I would like to say it is, but at the same time, sometimes you just get this feeling that something else is there. And that is why footsteps is on this list. It's pretty creepy, and I feel like all of us have had some kind of experience where we thought we heard something that we didn't actually hear. Or did we? Hollow world. So, this theory goes that the Minecraft world that we know actually has a void within its core. In our Earth, in the real world, obviously you have the Earth's core, which is hot. There's definitely a lot of lava in there. It's very hot. However, within Minecraft's world, the theory goes that it's an empty void. And what is that void? The end. You see, this theory goes that when you go into an end portal, where do you go? You go down. When you jump into a portal, you're jumping down. And some people say that the end actually is inside of the Minecraft world. Also, where else does this endless void start? Well, of course, when you dig straight down in Minecraft, what happens? We talked about this before. When you pierce through the bedrock all the way at the bottom, you see the same void that belongs in the end. Also, one last piece of evidence. The clock bugs out in the end, and possibly this is because you are in the Earth's core. It doesn't make any sense because there is no day or night there. It's definitely an interesting theory, and I could definitely believe it, purely because when you think gameplay-wise, the void that is underneath the bedrock is the same that's within the end. Emerald Sickness. So, supposedly, Emerald Sickness is just a theory that illagers and pillagers came about by them just being very greedy for emeralds. I guess because maybe they're so greedy for emeralds when they finally get their hands on them, it turns them sick. I don't know. I kind of compared this to the idea that they're just extremely greedy for something that doesn't mean anything, if that makes sense. I guess there is some examples of this happening in the real world. However, I would say that maybe this whole theory is just trying to say that they went mad because they are so greedy. Maybe it's something to do with how the emeralds are. Maybe there's something wrong with the emeralds that caused them to be this way. Or maybe they're just crazy wanting money. I don't know, but that's what the Emerald Sickness theory is. Woodland Mansion Cult. So, the Woodland Mansion Cult is essentially just talking about how there are secret rooms inside the Woodland Mansion. Sometimes they can contain idols, a meeting room with a map, jail cells of all things, a fake end portal as if they're trying to get to the end but can't quite do it. And it just kind of shows that the illagers might be smarter than we think. I think it's very creepy because when you go in there, and if you really know stuff about Minecraft, the Woodland Mansion has a lot of mysteries that pretty much insinuate that the illagers are up to no good. They're trying to find their way to the end, and what are these idols for? You know what I mean? What's the meeting room with the map for? There's a lot of questions here. It's almost like they are planning something. I mean, we know that they raid villages, but what else are they up to? A lot of people say that they are actually converting villagers to Ravagers and Vindicators and trying to build a Steve. This was a theory that was created by MatPat, essentially trying to say that, yeah, they want to try and build a Steve. Pumpkins have souls. So, what does this mean? Well, it took me a minute at first because I couldn't find much information on it, but then it hit me. Pumpkins. What do you put on an iron golem or a snow golem to make them come alive? You put a pumpkin on their head. Not just a pumpkin, a carved pumpkin. Now, maybe this seems pretty normal to us by now because it's just simple Minecraft. But if you think about it in the true context, you are basically giving a creature life. Now, this might kind of lead into some credit of Steve being a god. But I think pumpkins just might be some kind of soul. I don't know. The Minecraft world isn't meant to be taken that seriously. But if you think of it lore-wise, yes, you can put pumpkins on top of stuff to turn it into a living creature like iron golems, which can also spawn naturally within villages. So that's why it says that pumpkins contain souls. Pumpkins have souls. I think it actually is true in Minecraft's case, even if it only has a couple actual uses. Mineshafts ignore ores. So, I've already mentioned how creepy mineshafts are and how they might be remnants of a past society. But if you really ask yourself, why is there ore in the walls? If you were to go through a mineshaft, you'll find that all of the ore is still within the cave, as if it's been untouched. There are valuables in the chest, specifically in like the minecart chest, and they've left that just sitting there in the mines. But they didn't get the ore. So if they weren't digging for ore, what were they really digging for? This is a question that I thought about for a while, and I can't really think of anything. But whatever they were mining for, it wasn't ore. Rescue a ghast from the Nether. So, this is kind of a messed up achievement. There is an achievement in Minecraft known as Uneasy Alliance, and it tells you to do exactly what I'm about to say. Rescue a ghast from the Nether, bring it safely home to the overworld, and then kill it. This is incredibly messed up. You're supposed to bring a ghast through the portal and then kill it. Obviously, gameplay-wise, this is just an impressive feat that you can do, and I don't think I've actually done this before. Maybe I have, but it was probably a long time ago. Either way, this is incredibly messed up. I mean, we already know ghasts are not having a good time, but they make our lives miserable too, so honestly, I don't feel that bad for them. But this is just a crazy achievement. It's telling us to bring the ghast to the overworld and then just kill them there. We could have killed them in the Nether. Nah, let's give them a bit of hope and then kill them. That's crazy. Wandering traders or nitwits? There is a theory that the Minecraft wandering traders are actually just nitwits in disguise. If you were to look at a picture of them side by side, you'll notice that they have a lot of similarities. Green eyes, it has the same kind of brown cloak underneath. You can even see the green around the collar. It's almost like it's just a nitwit, but wearing a little bit more clothes. Now, obviously, the real reason for this is probably just because, oh, they just wanted to use one villager skin and then just add a bit more onto it. But what if this was intentional? I mean, it would make a lot of sense, wouldn't it? See, everybody would assume that nitwits are actually dumb. Like, oh, they don't have any jobs, you know, they don't have any good trades. But what if nitwits were actually the smartest of the villagers? Think about it. What if the nitwits eventually go and they become wandering traders, selling special things that pretty much every villager cannot do? They even have the ability to find llamas and bring them along, which is crazy. I just thought this was an interesting theory because, like, what if the nitwits were unironically actually smart and became wandering traders? Villagers created and armed piglins. So, supposedly, the pillagers created piglins and then also gave them weapons. I can't find that much information, but as far as I know that this is actually fact. I don't know where the source even comes from. I can't seem to find too much on it. However, supposedly, the pillagers are responsible for the piglins. And if this is true, this is like actually crazy. Pillagers are just our worst enemies, man. They really are our biggest ops in Minecraft. They went out of their way to create the piglins, and if that's the case, why? Why did they make the piglins? Why did they arm them? What was they hoping to achieve? There's so much there that we don't understand. Don't look at the moon. Apparently, there is a YouTube channel out there known as Legend Finder, and this has to do with some kind of conspiracy. You see, there is a playlist on YouTube that you can find by Legend Finder that just has videos of him looking at the moon. There's different videos of him just looking at the moon for minutes on end, and there's several entries just like this. It seems to be trying to imply that there's something more to Minecraft's moon, as if the game can tell that you're watching it. Also, eventually it starts showing the moon in real life at some point, which is kind of freaky. And it kind of leaves up on this one message. Don't look at the moon, because nobody knows what will happen to your body after your computer finally shuts down involuntarily. The Nether is alive. So, I talked about this a little bit earlier, but there's a theory that the entire Nether is some kind of like organic biome. It does kind of make sense when you really think about it. There is different biomes within the Nether that can have all kinds of, I suppose, fungus? I don't know if it's grass or if it's fungus, but there is different biomes with different organic materials on top of it. Like I said, some people thought that Netherrack might have actually have been human flesh. Although this is not the case and it's actually bricks, still an interesting thought. I don't see too much more about the theory, but I guess when you think about it, the Nether being a organic place could have some merit to it. Missing versions. There has been multiple rumored fake versions of Minecraft that were released but have just become completely unable to be found. A lot of these are just ARGs, but there is a common thought, a common mystery even, that maybe there was more Minecraft versions that are missing out there, and people have them. I don't think this is necessarily true, but it's certainly possible, and that's why it's so interesting. Unfortunately, guys, this is all I have for today's iceberg. If you'd like to see a part 2, you need to let me know, and I definitely plan to make other icebergs. But this is my Halloween special. This is my Minecraft Horror Creepy Iceberg. I think it's pretty solid. There's definitely darker depths to go, but I'll save that for a part 2 if it ever happens. Let me know in the comments, what piqued your curiosity? What really stood out to you as either the creepiest or the most interesting? I hope you all enjoyed this video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Fusion Timmy, signing out.